Hi, I'm Latresa Wilson-Alford. Welcome to a forum of candidates running for the 14th District State Assembly seat in the June 7th primary election. The 14th District includes Pittsburgh, Concord, Bay Point, Clyde, Martinez, Rodeo, Crockett, Pleasant Hill, Pacheco, and parts of Walnut Creek. Today's forum is sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Diablo Valley, the League of Women Voters of West Contra Costa, and the Contra Costa Elections Division. We're recording these roundtables here in the studio of Contra Costa Television with production assistance from the cities of Richmond and Walnut Creek. The candidates are Tim Grayson, Democrat; Deborah Allen, Republican; Harmesh Kumar, Democrat; May Sindata Torlakson, Democrat, could not attend today's forum. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make an opening statement. We drew lots before the show to determine the speaking order, so we will begin with Tim Grayson.
Hello, my name is Tim Grayson, and I am the only candidate that has served as mayor, vice mayor, and as a council member in local government. And I spent my entire career serving the public, especially as police chaplain, standing by people in crisis. I am proud of the accomplishments as working with my colleagues on the city council. One example being the Central County Family Justice Center that I helped co-found, that helps victims of domestic violence, elderly abuse, child abuse, and also human trafficking. Other programs such as the daytime curfew ordinance, which turned into a countywide prototype, and then also working to make sure that public safety was of highest priority for the city of Concord. I would like to take this opportunity and my passion to help people and continue to do so for the entire district, District 14. I look forward to and ask for your support on June 7th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grayson. Next, we will have 2 minutes from candidate Deborah Allen.
Hello, I'm Deborah Allen, and I hope you'll support me for Assembly District 14. I have spent a long career in financial management in private industry. I've held titles such as CPA, Chief Financial Officer, Tax Manager. I've owned numerous businesses, and I'm known to be a hard-working woman who gets things done. My education background is in accounting, business, taxation, and the last 5 years I've spent studying pension administration and institutional investing in my work with the Contra Costa County Pension Board. We've made great strides in the pension board since my joining there, and I look forward to going to Sacramento and using my background to really get things done and take on the Sacramento bureaucracy. I hope you'll support me, DeborahAllen.com, no H in the middle. Thanks.
Mr. Kumar.
Yeah, friends, I'm Dr. Harmesh Kumar. I'm a psychologist since 1983, and since 1990 I have been living here in this area, and I have been helping people, those who need the help most. What I have seen over the years is that we have made our public more hopeless and helpless. And being in the mental health field, our system has become so corrupt for ordinary people to even get minimum services from the system we nurture. And our both parties has become like a cult. They want to support people, those who really are in the dining room set up, and they discuss, they decide, and they deliver. And most of the elected officials we have seen, they have been already bought by the special interest groups. So we need to have a candidate who has the remote control, and he will change the remote control with feedback from the community, not from the special interest groups. So I will ask for your vote and support. Dr. Kumar for assembly.com. You could read more about me.
Thank you. Today is Earth Day, and Mr. Grayson, I have a question for you. What would you do to help save our planet?
Well, first of all, definitely to preserve what we have already. And for example, in the Concord Naval Weapons Station development, instead of taking 5,000 acres that are being transferred from the Navy to the city and developing every square inch of it, it was imperative that we understand just how important where we are and what we have as far as the earth and its asset to us. We made the choice to preserve over 2,500 acres for open space, for parklands, and I think making sure that we really contain development and to meet the needs of the people, but also at the same time, we work very hard to preserve what we have, whether it's the water and the twin tunnels that should not happen because it would negatively impact our ecosystem. And so standing up against those that are aggressive and ambitious that would hurt our environment, that would be something I would like to stand up for.
Thank you. Ms. Allen, same question.
So tomorrow I will celebrate Earth Day with the Clayton community as they do Clayton Cleans Up. I believe we are on a good path with respect to preserving the earth that we have. We can't make another one, and it is important to me that we continue to preserve what we have and continue to work to clean up areas that need to be cleaned up. Councilman Grayson explained one item, the Concord Naval Weapons Station. There is going to be some cleanup work to be done there, and I think it's imperative that we take the care to make sure that that cleanup work is done appropriately before we start building homes for people to live in that area. I also believe that we need to pay special attention to our water situation. Our water needs to be clean, and I am a person who enjoys a lot of outdoor activities on the rivers in Northern California. I live next to Mount Diablo, and so the environment is very important to me.
Thank you. Same question to you, Mr. Kumar.
You know, when we pray in the morning, we say that air is our guru, and water is our father, and land is our mother, earth is our mother. And when we have that kind of feeling about the environment, there is no chance that will go wrong and will damage our environment. And what we need to do is to incorporate these things in our daily living. And that has been missing from when we are focusing on our daily goals. We get up what car we need to drive, what food we need to eat, what school we need to attend, what work we need to do, what gadgets we need to have, what phone size we need to have. Our focus has changed, and we need to go to the basic focus, which will really make us one with the earth. And that's where I stand, and we need to create conditions and circumstances where we will really, all the Native Americans, why they were worshiping all these forces, because they knew that they have to live with them.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. In our district, we notice that there is income inequality, and we have a disparity in regards to the haves and the have-nots. A question I have is, considering that income inequality is a problem for so many people, what steps would you take to make changes? Mr. Grayson.
Thank you. Well, steps are already being made to make those changes to help close the gap in the income inequality. First of all, for women, equal pay for equal work. And that's one standard that needs to be more than just lip service, but it needs to be enacted and implemented in the workplace. Another area that can help in income equality is making sure we address the affordable housing issues that we have that has become more than just a problem. It's actually turning into a crisis in the Bay Area. As well, to be able to address the minimum wage and to be able to understand that it is not possible for someone to make the current minimum wage and to be able to survive and make even poverty level income considered by the federal government. So to be able to increase minimum wage at a rate in which businesses can accommodate it, but then also be able to increase it at a rate that can help people catch up and close the gap of income inequality. Those three areas are very high in priority policy for me.
Ms. Allen, what is your view on this?
So as a woman who started her career in public accounting back in the 1980s, I encountered income inequality. I was working side by side with men who did the same exact job, worked just as hard as I did, and made just a little bit more. I combated that in my career by working even harder and eventually rose to great levels and was given great opportunities throughout my career. I sometimes do have to stop and ask the question of what studies are we looking at that say there is income inequality, because some of the studies that are out there have been opposed by other studies, and so it becomes a very confusing issue. Is there income inequality? I believe there is, but is it to the extent that some of the studies have provided to us? I'm not convinced of that, and so because I'm a numbers person, I'm a number cruncher, I want to read the studies for myself before I jump into large programs trying to make changes in the way business operates and the way our society operates based on some studies that we still need to do more work on.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
Yeah, I think income inequalities are the real problem we have. That's why people are being kind of supporting Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, because people are frustrated with the existing system. And my friend, City Council member Tim Grayson, talked about the affordable housing in Concord. And when it comes to affordable housing, we 2-3 weeks ago they decided to allow 640 square feet in-law unit. And in those in-law unit, anybody who want to make an in-law unit in their own single-family home, they have to pay minimum $36,000 fee even to start the permit process. And that's like a mafia. $16,000 you pay to connect to the water. What kind of system we are creating for people? People those who are already hopeless, people those who are already homeless, people's rent are going up, and we want them to pay $16,000 just to connect to the water system, which is already there for all of us. All of us are paying the property taxes. Every $100 we pay in property taxes, we only get $10 locally. $90 go to state.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. I want to ask the candidates, do you support or oppose crude by rail? And if you do or don't, what regulations would you propose?
So first of all, I want to state crude by rail is already here. And so it already exists. It's not about whether or not it's there or not there, or whether we decide it's going to be there or it's not going to be there. It does exist. I think the real question is, how much involvement has there been with the community or the communities in which crude rail passes through? And what safety measures have been implemented? Is it just a policy on paper, or is it something actually that is in practice and is operational? And before crude oil passes through a community, I believe it's absolutely the responsibility of the oil companies and also the transport agency to make sure that there are safety measures in place and that all problems or potential problems can be mitigated at the quickest and most possible way. So I support the fact that we definitely need to make very proactive measures that protect the people through the communities in which crude oil must pass.
Okay. Actually, I want to ask you the same question, Ms. Allen, but also I know that there are communities who are complaining about this crude oil coming through and the hazardous conditions that it creates. Would you work with the community? How would you work with the community through your position? You know,
Right. So as a state legislator, first of all, I agree with the safety comments that Mr. Grayson has made. But as a legislator, I would work with the communities to impose more oversight on that crude by rail to help ensure that it would be safe. However, there is an opposing opinion that is saying, well, we shouldn't be using crude by rail at all, or we should be reducing it and ultimately phasing it out. We have to be very, very careful about programs like that would eliminate further the jobs that we have in this district. The refineries in this district do employ hundreds, if not thousands, of people, and we have to be very careful about shutting off the ability for those people to produce jobs in an industry that is worthwhile for us.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar, the same question.
You know, I do agree with the safety measures of my two colleagues here. But one thing we need to really look into, that it is the perception, it is the fear which is created in the minds of people. More we need to work with the fear of the local communities through which this oil passes through, and work in a way that we don't create. Things are changing. Technology has been changing quite fast. We have solar system, we have electric system coming, electric cars are coming, and already there are tremendous changes being made to the technology to make our lives a little bit more dependent on the fossil oil and other kind of fuel which we have been used to. But we need to work with the community. I'll definitely, being a psychologist, that's my forte, to work with individuals. If they are fearful of something, we address those issues and work with the oversight agency. And sometimes the oversight agencies are working only for the people, those who are not working with the common ordinary people. So we need to make sure that the agencies we have there to watch for the public, they do watch for the public.
Thank you. Our senior population is growing at a great rate. Baby boomers are one of the largest populations that we have in this country. What type of legislation, if you could think out of the box, would you propose as a legislator to improve the lives of our seniors? And I'm going to switch a little bit and start with Ms. Allen.
Sure. So I think of large importance to our senior population is our housing crisis. The housing crisis is a supply and demand issue. We simply do not have enough supply of housing. And we can talk about, do we have enough affordable housing? Do we have enough low-income housing? The fact of the matter is there's not enough housing. And if I were going to propose legislation, I would start to work in areas like CEQA reform, other areas that will start to free up the ability for cities to approve more quickly the development of new supplies of housing.
Thank you. Mr. Grayson.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to announce that from a national publication, Concord was just listed as one of the top 10 places in the world to retire, which means we already have some really good policies in place that take care of our seniors. As my colleague had mentioned, dealing with affordable housing or with housing for seniors specifically, in which I'm excited to say we already have being built here in Concord. But along with that, coming up with policies that enable seniors to age in place is really, really important for that stability, for that comfort of mind, and for that peace. And for the most part, because they deserve it, and they've worked hard for it. and it's our job as a community to take care of our seniors.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
You know, this is my passion. I have assisted living facilities. I have around 150 beds, and some of them for the veterans and seniors, which I serve. And the Bay Area has come to a crisis point. Assisted living placement costs somewhere from $5,000 to $15,000 per month for a senior to stay in an assisted living place. And I have been raising these issues for quite some time, even with the city of Concord. As my friend says, that Concord has been recognized as one of the 10 places to retire. But still, as I mentioned earlier in my comments, that we don't need to act like a mafia to charge $16,000 to connect the water to the water system. And these things do add up to the cost of living. And I also promoted free transportation for the seniors in the city of Concord. We need to provide them the services which they need. If we provide them the services, we don't have to worry about if some senior is not able to drive, but they need the groceries. We need to create the system which will provide them the independence they are used to.
Okay. Thank you. Since we had opening statements, we're going to cut our closing statement. So I'm going to give each of you about a minute to give a closing statement. Okay. Mr. Grayson.
Thank you, Latrice. It is an honor to be here today. And I, again, am the only candidate that has served as mayor, vice mayor, and also council member in a local government environment. I know what it's like to balance a budget to the tune of $90 million annually, and to also build a reserve of $30 million. I know what it's like to face tough issues and watch for pitfalls, and to be able to address them by coming up with the ordinance of the fiscal sustainability ordinance that addressed one-time funds that were coming in. I am a consensus builder. I am a decision maker. I ask the questions and research the issues, and I have a get-it-done attitude. It would be my honor to be able to have your support, and I'm asking for your vote on June 7th, timgrayson.us.
Thank you, Mr. Grayson. Next, Ms. Allen.
So the voters have a choice on June 7th. They have a choice, but is this a popularity contest or is this a job interview? In fact, one of the candidates in this race didn't even come to the interview today, which would lead me to believe that it's more of a popularity contest on that side. I have the experience, the financial experience, education, deep education in things like taxation. I've read laws, I've helped write contracts, and I've even participated with some legislators in lawmaking in certain areas. I believe I have the experience and background to get the job, and I hope you'll support me on June 7th, DeborahAllen.com, no H in the middle. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar.
You know, as I have mentioned, Alan just mentioned about the popularity context. This is not a job which anybody or everybody could do. It is the job which is a gift from God to serve other people. And I have that gift because I have been serving from the day one I landed in this country, which is a country of dreams. And I have the ability and I have the infrastructures which I created with the help of friends and with my professors to provide those services to people, those who need them the most. And I am the candidate which could create those services for the people. I am not bought by the establishment. I am not bought by the special interest groups. I didn't get the funding as my opponents have received the funding. So we need to select a candidate which has a heart to serve the community, and I am that person. I would request for your vote and support on June 7th. You could go to my website, drkumar.assembly.com. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, that includes our forum of candidates running for the 14th District State Assembly seat in the June 7th primary election. Once again, the candidates are Tim Grayson, Deborah Allen, and Harmesh Kumar, and May Sindata Torlikson, who is not present. For more information on the candidates, visit the website votersedge.org. To view this broadcast online, go to ContraCostaTV.org. I'm Latresa Wilson Alford. Thank you for watching. Remember to vote on June 7th. Thank you, candidates.
Thank you.